So the topic for today's Quick&R is special events. And today we're going to ask the question, how special are your events? I know that clubs all across the country have 1, 2, 3, some even have 5 and 6 special events. And we need to be sure that those special events are doing more than just raising money. And I hope that by the time you're done with this Quick&R, you will agree that there are actually more important purposes to a special event than the bottom line. So in order to decide how special are your events, there are 2 questions I'd like to ask. First, if attendees at your special event have a great time, but leave with no new understanding of your club, your work, and your mission, was your event a success? Everybody has a great time. Everybody says wonderful things about your club or about the event, but they don't come out knowing anything more about what we do or who we serve. They may even think they were at a Boy Scouts event or some other nonprofit. If your event reaches its monetary goal, but you don't contact attendees until you send the next event invitation, was your event a success? You raised all the money that you needed, so you met that goal, but you didn't get anything else out of the event. I would argue the answer to both of these questions is no. So to be truly special, your event needs to do 2 things. And these are the most important functions of a special event. Not raising money, but conveying your mission and impact to attendees, taking advantage of the fact that at special events, you have a captive audience. You're able to communicate with your attendees in many different media. So you have the visual, you have face-to-face, you have kids. There are lots of different ways to convey your mission and impact. And if they leave thinking that all you are is golf, you've missed a golden opportunity. Secondly, to be truly special, your event also must be seen as a starting point for relationship building. Oftentimes, clubs will say, well, she's just someone who comes to the chili feed. And of course she's just someone who comes to the chili feed if that's all you ever invite her to do. So rather than thinking of segregating our donors into special event donors and relationship-based fundraising donors, we need to see the special event as an entry point to building a relationship with our clubs. And so the focus of today's Quick&R is going to be, how do you convey your mission and impact to event attendees, no matter what the event is? And how do you use the special event as a starting point for relationship building? So first, how do you convey your mission and your impact? As I said earlier, you have a captive audience. You have people who, they may be there for your adult spelling bee, they may be there for your gala, they may just be there because they heard the food was going to be great or because someone from work invited them to sit at a table. But while they're there, you can show them that you're more than just wine and cheese, that you're more than just a golf tournament or a fun run, that there's something important and impactful that your club accomplishes that nobody else can do. So how do you do that? To convey your mission, you need to involve the kids. Now, a question that I hear quite often from clubs is, I'm not sure we should involve the kids because alcohol will be served at our event. And I have 2 responses to that. First of all, your kids should be involved but always supervised so that there is never a chance that they would be anywhere near to alcohol. And secondly, you should seek parental permission before having them at the event. Let the parents know, yes, alcohol will be served, but no, the kids will not be near to the alcohol. We won't have them serving wine. We won't have them work in the bar. But there are a lot of great things we can have the kids do. We're very lucky as Boys and Girls Clubs because our kids can be involved and showcased, if you will, at our events. People can say, look at these amazing young people who are members of the club. Look how cute they are. Look how polite they are. Don't they deserve better? Don't they deserve a world-class club, and shouldn't I do everything I can to make that happen? It's a lot harder to convey that with just pictures and speeches. So involve the kids in some way. Now, all of the ideas that are listed here are examples of things that other clubs have done. They have people kids greet people at the front door and shake hands. They put thank you cards to all of the attendees at club members, at attendees' tables. We have people who are thankers. So during the silent auctions, the auction, the raise the paddle to back a kid, the kids will come up to the person who's the winning bidder and just quickly say thank you and walk away. Kids can be your MCs. This is a great job for older kids or for your youth of the year. They could sing the national anthem. They could lead off with some kind of a non-denominational invocation. They could perform. They could make decorations. You could have videos that highlight your kids. This is a great way to bring something that's really exciting and interesting and that has a feeling that you really understand what's happening at the club. They could sit with the guests. There are lots of ways to get the kids involved, and this is great because it helps to serve your program at the club level, as well as getting your potential donors and current donors more involved with the kids, because this is a great Keystone and Torch Club project. Sometimes it's hard to involve the kids. Sometimes it's hard to involve the mission. And so let's talk about those kinds of examples. This club has a fun run as their fundraiser, and of course it's hard to get a lot of word across to people who are running about what you do at the club. So this club had their kids run as well. I saw one club who stationed kids where they gave out water, but also throughout the run with signs that said things like, "Thank you for my great grades. Thank you for the football program. Thank you for my hot meals after school." And one club actually wrote the names of people who were there. So it would actually say, "Thank you, Maggie Johnson, for my scholarship." That was so moving to the people who were there. You know, they're being called out and acknowledged as donors. At a golf tournament, you could have a kid at each hole. You could have facts about kids on and about your program on yard signs at each hole. You could have information in the registration packets. You could have kids present at the dinner. So sometimes it's hard to involve the kids. It's hard to promote the mission, but you have to look to creative ways to get the kids in, to promote your mission, to share your impact with the people who are there, because only then are you really taking advantage of your special event. Lots of people leave special events, they have a great time, but they really can't tell you what the organization does, and that is a huge miss. Don't just tell your mission, tell your impact. Don't just tell what you do, tell what you accomplish. So it's nice to say that you have a meals program. It's nice to say that your kids get a hot and healthy meal after school every day, but it's better to say that your club served 100,000 hot meals last year to kids who would have otherwise gone hungry. That's something that an attendee can really take away and hold on to. Remember that one of the best ways to tell what you accomplish is through stories of what you are able to do at your club. In terms of your impact, you want to say it, you want to write it down, you want to say it again. So the key points of impact, like this little infographic at the bottom of the screen, might appear in a PowerPoint slide before your presentation starts, might be said by one speaker and echoed by another speaker. It might appear in their conference program and on signage and be said during speeches. But have a few key points that you want people to leave your special event knowing. Decide as a staff what are the most strategic things that you'd like your attendees to know, and then work those into the presentation repeatedly. We all have short attention spans. We're exposed to lots of information. We want to be sure we're communicating it effectively. Give your staff who will be at the event some quick talking points around those key points you're trying to convey. So this could be program staff, this could be your marketing staff, this could be your accounting staff who's there. Anybody that's there knows these talking points. Video and visuals are the best way to convey your impact because they're interesting, they're exciting, they feel immediate, and your video does not have to be beautifully produced to have impact. Even if you have program staff each turn their iPhone on kids and get a few words from each kid and you put those together into a quick video, it's still going to have impact, more so than just a speech. So once you've got your mission and your impact established, your attendees will leave your event understanding a little bit more about the organization. At that point, take advantage of the momentum you've gained by harnessing your special event and start cultivating. So you want to cultivate your special event attendees, but first you want to qualify them. And what this means is deciding that someone is qualified to be your donor. Are they interested in you? Do they care about the mission? Do they seem to invite additional conversation? The only way to qualify someone is to have a conversation with them. If you reach out and you call and you send messages and you send notes and you call some more and they never talk to you, you can assume that they have not qualified. But if you call someone, "Thank you so much for being at our event, we'd love to have you in for a tour," and they're really interested, that's someone who has qualified that you can now cultivate. So qualify donors, then cultivate donors. You may not be able to qualify every single person who was at your event. You may need to be strategic here. Remember that stewardship and cultivation are really closely linked. So if you have good post-event stewardship, you're already sort of the first step of the way toward cultivation. In terms of how you should cultivate these folks, cultivate as you would other donors with the same giving level. So if I bought a $50 ticket, think of me as a $50 donor. If I had a $5,000 sponsorship, I'm a $5,000 donor. I'm not just a special event donor. I'm not just someone who came to Steak and Burger. I am a $5,000 donor. And by pigeonholing me into thinking I'm just that special event attendee, you're doing yourself a great disservice because there are very few people who are really only interested in steaks and burgers, right? They're interested in kids. They're interested in our mission. Along these same lines, remember your post-event stewardship. This is really hard to do because the day after a special event, as you all know, you have that terrible special event hangover where you're just tired as can be. You've been stressed out for so long. You've got to clean up. You've got to close things up. You've got to pay bills. There's so much to do after the event. It's easy to lose the donors in the shuffle, especially if you already made your event goal. Kind of the thinking is, well, that's done. So be sure to do some post-event stewardship. Send a press release out to the newspaper and be sure and let donors know what they've accomplished. What were we able to raise for kids and what will that money do? So rather than saying we raised $50,000 at our Fisherama, you would say we raised $50,000 which will enable the club to serve X number of kids in these certain and specific programs toward these certain and specific impacts. So your newspaper coverage is more than just dollars. We've got to move the idea of special events away from dollars and into impact. Write a thank you letter to volunteers and to high-level donors. Report on results, report on impact. Make personal calls to key supporters, and send out an email blast, Facebook, Twitter, letting people know not just how much money you raised, but what was accomplished because of them. There's a great tool that you can do to look at whether your special events are having the kind of impact that you'd like. Your Director of Organizational Development can lead you through this, and if you don't know who your DOD is, just ask your CEO. Your DOD can lead you through the Special Events Review, which will let you see the true cost of your event. It includes administrative overhead and staff time. And that's one of the real reasons why you have to start thinking about your special event as going beyond just who comes and how much money do we raise to what new relationships do we begin toward larger gifts, because the amount of time that you put into a special event is so significant. It's got to be more than just the money that you raise. If you're starting to question whether an event is really worth it, this Special Events Review will help you to figure that out. The reason this isn't here as a download is this is best done as a facilitated discussion with someone else, and so your DOD can do that for you. I have several resources for you to download. They are located in the handouts portion of your navigation pane. There's a PDF of these slides. There's a great ebook from the Association of Fundraising Professionals. There is another ebook that's a successful fundraising event guide, and then a special events next standing template. Next steps planning template, which would work for you in planning your cultivation if you don't have a moves management system in place or you don't have one in your database. So those are the resources. That concludes talking about how to make your special events truly special. Keep it on impact and keep it on cultivation. At this point, the webinar is concluded. However, if you would like to stay on, I would be happy to answer any questions that anyone has, and you can just type those right there in the questions box. Should you prefer to reach me offline, here is my contact information. Please feel free to do so whenever you would like. Our next webinar is coming up in about a month, and I look forward to talking to you then. And I thank you.